So you're saying that the universities are not insulated from the problems of the larger society?
At all.
How does universities asking for autonomy? I mean, I know that, universities have been seeking autonomy for quite a while, and it's been brought home with this issue of the TSA, that is at the federal level. How does it insulate universities from the problems of larger society?
Once they have the kind of desire, both administrative and financial autonomy, it will isolate them from the society, the problems of the society. First, there won't be interference, political interference from government. That whatever they are doing, they will do it according to regulations, the way that the law establishes it. That's how they are going to follow.
Not that they will become a law unto themselves.
No, they will not. They will operate within the confines of the law. But that if the law says this is a matter that Senate should decide, nobody should do it except Senate. There should not be any form of interference in terms of administration of the university. And that the resources that is required in order, the minimum that is required should be made available. That's the kind of autonomy that they're talking about.
Now, Professor, sometimes you're aware of the overbearing influences of vice-chancellors on the Senate, for instance, the decision-making bodies. How do we then know that if these universities are granted full autonomy, that they would be able to run themselves without any real checks?
The real issue is that I don't think that there is any overbearing influence of the vice-chancellors. It is that all of them he's just one among equals. That you find out that after the opposition, you are going to go back and be member of Senate, ordinary member of Senate. So there is nothing that is going to make other members of Senate to feel inferior. That it is something that once you allow robust discussions in Senate, you find out that you get the best from that kind of university.
I'm just wondering now, only recently, I think it was in 2015, not too distant past, you were accused of running an admission racket. That was according to the Nasarawa State House of Assembly. How did you get past that?
Because it was just noise, at the end of the day, they found out that there was nothing wrong with what we have done. The real issue at that time was that they wanted admissions after admissions were closed. And I stood my ground that we cannot do anything about admissions because we have already done admissions already. So, but because they thought that they had powers, they now move a resolution that I should be suspended so that they can investigate. And the government insisted that if you want to investigate, the man cannot do anything, just go and do your investigation. And at the end of the day, they passed a clean slate at the end of the investigation.
What was the issue? That you had admitted some students who were not originally from Nasarawa State?
Yes.
Was that the issue?
It's one of the issues. That they went through the admission list and they found out that there are names that appear Igbo or Yoruba and they are people of Nasarawa State. I say it is not in my capacity to determine if you have genuine documents to say that you are from that local government. There is nothing I can do about it. But like I said, that that was not really the issue. The real issue was that they wanted some people to be admitted after the admission.
Just wondering then, do you think that it is a good idea to really create state universities? Do you think it creates an entitlement mentality amongst the people who are from that state who believe they own the university?
It is good to have a space, but my own idea of expansion of education should have been vertical instead of horizontal. And by that I mean is that instead of making duplicity of universities, you can empower some of the universities to admit more candidates. I give you an example. When Federal University was created in Nasarawa State, I argue that it doesn't make sense for you to have another university that is going to admit 500 people when you can just make 1/4 or 1/10 of the resources you are making available to Federal University to the state university, or even take it over as Federal University, and then it will admit 4 times the number with 1/10 of the resources that are given to the other university. So you can see that it is not, if you have a situation where, as it were in some states, you have candidates that were qualified to be admitted, but because of inavailability of universities, the state, if capable, will then go ahead and say they want to establish university. But it must be strictly on the fact that they are going to be able to operate it as a university.
Is that the situation that we have right now?
As we have now, they are making politics of the whole thing. Some people want to create universities just because they want to take it to their local government. So it creates a lot of problem in running the universities. There are some states that are currently even saying that they want to have additional universities. And some already had additional universities. So I think the regulation must be such that beyond even the issue of creating universities, the National University Commission must come up with the number of academics that you have in different fields, so that we know how many can be in how many number of universities. For instance, if you do not have up to 1,000 academic staff in a particular discipline, and for each department it requires about 10, you don't need to have up to 100 universities or 100 of that kind of departments, because a situation where the totality of the people that studied in that discipline and have the qualification to teach maybe are up to, say, 1,000. And you have over 100 universities running that program. In that case, you are saying that you are going to have less than 10 people that are qualified to teach in that program. That way we cannot go anywhere. That we must attempt to build universities in the direction that we have the resources to run them.
So if I get you right, what you're saying is that from get-go, we've gotten it wrong.
We have gotten it wrong, because we're establishing universities without even knowing how many people we have that they can teach in the program. That is why after some few years, you have this course is not accredited, because you cannot even get the staff to come and teach in that program.
So who's talking to the NUC or whoever it is that's making the policy to ensure that we're thinking along these lines, the fact that we should have perhaps more colleges or more faculties, but under one university, perhaps that would solve the problem instead of this proliferation of universities it was saying?
Certainly, it will solve the problem. That's my view. It is better, because even the resources you spend on the vice chancellors, on the registrars, on such other functions that are not really are particularly associated with the development of man is disturbing. So the best is to ensure that we streamline them in such a way that is why I say I always praise what Buhari did in 1984. Because in 1984, when he came, there were about 6 federal universities of technology that he cancelled and merged them with existing universities. So we're thinking that if
Professor, I'm going to have to interrupt you. You'll be able to continue on your thoughts when we come back from this break. Please stay with us.